Are we live? Awesome, we're live. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday evening.
On that latest head right here,
Johnny! Let me know if you guys can hear us. We've got our microphones all fixed. Katie's got a microphone on. We left the other two, Ward and Russell, without microphones.
Amen.
So they're going to be a little bit quieter, which is probably a good thing.
Yes, it's PG rated.
But listen in the comments if you guys can hear us. Are the comments on?
Yep.
Hearing you great. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, welcome to another live stream. I'll try not to yell because my microphone's probably loud. Oh, I forgot to turn it down too. It's probably going to be loud, so just talk really normally. Welcome to another live stream. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit. It's been 2 weeks since we did our last live stream. Not a lot has gone on since then. Actually, a lot has gone on since then. So we did our last live stream. That was about the BVM Ultra Bandit, which is now on the West Coast, and that's getting painted. So that is there. We have started the F16 from BVM, which is right behind Katie. And we're making some good progress on that as well. Went flying last weekend, and it was amazing. The weather on our flying day, so in Canada here, it was Thanksgiving. We do our Thanksgiving then, whenever that is, beginning of October. And it was beautiful. Such a beautiful day of flying. Our weather is really cold lately, but last weekend when we got out, it was so nice. Flew the kinetics, did 4 flights on the kinetics.
Tell me what you did.
One on the, what else did I fly that day? Who else was there? Oh no, Cecil had the Snowbird there. So I had my Snowbird there as well, or the new owner of the Snowbird had the Snowbird there, so I got to fly the Snowbird for a flight, which was awesome. And it's so nice. Flies just like it always did, except with the radio system he uses has an S, and it's not quite as connected as a Jetty system. So we did make a change with the kinetics, put a 190 turbine in there. When we built the aircraft, we put a 240 in, and that's been great, but the 190 was actually a better fit for the aircraft. Didn't really affect anything CG-wise or anything like that, but what it did do is, or what I really liked about it was when I was flying the 240, I was flying in the 25% throttle stick range to 50% throttle stick range most of the flight. So you had this really kind of narrow window of throttle control. With the 190, I found myself flying in the 25% to 75% throttle control, and just felt more connected with the plane because of that. So it was a good feeling, felt great. The airplane didn't feel like it had any different amount of throttle or power, but that was the change we made to it. So
Time up in the air. Nice.
yeah, we do get more time up in the air. That's a good point, Ward. So we did the first flight for 7 minutes, which was our normal flying time, landed, and with the 5.5 liter tank, we only put 3.5 liters back in. So we had 2 liters still, or no, 3 liters back in. So we still had 2.5 liters left. So we bumped the timer up to 8 minutes, and now we're putting like 3.6 liters back in. So we could conceivably on that aircraft bump up to 10 minutes easily with the 190 in there. So yeah, it was good. Awesome flying day. We're basically, tomorrow's video is on the F16. I keep calling that an F15. It's on the F16, video number 2 in the build series. So the stuff we're working on tonight is actually 3 videos ahead. So if you watch everything we do here at the lighter side of RC, we're going to be well ahead tonight of tomorrow's video. So anyways, if you guys have any questions during the live stream, Katie is here to read the questions. She's got a microphone on, so you'll be able to hear her very well. And that's it. Keep the questions PG, and we like to keep all of our stuff PG. But anyways, let's get working. I need a drink now because I've been talking so much.
It's beer.
Red Bull, Diet Red Bull.
Just hit 38,000 subscribers today, which is crazy. Thought that was kind of neat because like on Monday I hit 37 and I was all excited. And we just hit 38.
Woohoo!
Guess those extra.
Well, the unboxing videos of the F16 and the SU30 are doing very well. So this is pretty cool. So tomorrow's video we cover a lot of making this chute mechanism for the F16. And yes, all you guys that are commenting that the F16 doesn't have a chute, some of them do. The F16 doesn't have a tail hook. Yes, F16s, F22s, F35s all have a tail hook, or a lot of them have tail hooks as an emergency thing. So they're not an active tail hook where they can lower and drop them. It's basically they drop them when in an emergency situation, they dangle and they catch a wire, catch the arresting hook. So yes, the F16s do have a tail hook. So we did the chute mechanism here, so of course we're well ahead of what the videos are, and this is working out absolutely awesome. Earlier today we put our fiberglass to join the pre-made piece onto the manufactured piece, and that's what we did earlier today. So you kind of have to do this in stages, so this whole thing is very spread out over all the videos, but the magnets are very powerful. So anyways, that's kind of cool. That all worked out. So in the upcoming videos, you'll see us do a plug, a mold, pulling pieces from the mold, and we had success with it all. So I don't have a ton of experience in that stuff, so actually I was happy that it worked out. So what we're working on tonight is we kind of are jumping back and forth between the fuselage and the wings. We hopped on the wings. We're in the fuselage, the gear's all been dealt with, but we're adding locks to the gear doors. So this morning I made a mount for the servos, glued the mount in, then we got the servos fastened to the mounts. Then we put our little tabbies on the gear doors. So there's a good chance once we're done with the wings, we'll be flipping this guy over and working on the gear door locks tonight. So that's kind of the goal for this episode, and we'll see what happens. I think I've got multiple
Heavy drinking.
drinks on the go here.
He's always been a two-fisted drinker.
Yeah, Coke, if you're watching this, sponsor the channel. That would be okay. We would like that.
Victor, RCJets, I think maybe.
Victor's from California.
Spencer says, here you're coming to our hood next week.
You betcha. We're going to be there. We fly in on Thursday. So Thursday we're kind of tied up with stuff. But Friday's a free day for us. We were thinking about going to Disneyland, but then we looked at the price of tickets to Disneyland. It was like $260 US. For me and Katie, so it's like $700 Canadian
for 1 day.
Yeah, for the two of us. So we're like, no, we're not going to go to Disneyland. So Friday we're kind of free, and then Saturday I'll be at the field at Apollo Field. Saturday is the plan. So yes, I'll be in your hood.
Did you bring your own tent
Yeah.
for the street living?
David Jones says, I thought they decided on a 240 for the BVM plane.
For the Rebel, if you're talking about the Rebel, no, the Rebel's getting a 195. This is getting a Beast, a Sweetwind 300. I think you're probably talking about the Super Bandit, not the Rebel, the Super Bandit.
Off the paint,
yeah. Kelly says, how did the nav lights work out?
Got to show them. I never updated our chat. So here's the nav lights. So Kelly, we ended up using my standard epoxy trick. We have a bit of touch-ups there to do, but these have been cleared and glued on. The red one's on the other side, actually. I like the red one better, but they're different shapes. But yeah, so I went with my standard setup. And the reason for that, obviously I'll talk about this in the video, but The reason for that is there's not a lot of gluing surface here. So that's why I ended up going with my standard setup, because it's just going to be more solid, basically.
Yeah, I got one more clear coat on that. Needs more clear coat.
Victor says, yeah, Victor RCJets, the most expensive place on earth.
Yeah,
Seriously.
no kidding.
That's just to get in. That doesn't even include food or like anything else.
Yeah, we looked at it and it was like, we kind of figured, well, after we eat and everything, it's going to be $1,000 Canadian day, which is just like, no thanks.
Maybe if we'd never been there before, it'd be different, but like...
We've been to Disneyland. It's my favorite place to go ever, but not for that much money.
No.
Yeah, I have no desire to go there.
I do, I love it.
I love Vegas.
David S. says, howdy.
Hey, David.
David Jones says, yes, the Bandit.
Yeah, the Bandit 195, that's going to be still an exceptional amount of engine for that plane. You got our piece of snakeskin with this is, normally we clean up the work table before we do the live streams, but this is what they normally look like.
Yep.
Half the tools sitting on the bench and the other half sitting in the toolbox. But we were busy eating, so we didn't have time to clean up the workbench and make it look like it's
Yeah, like we always keep it clean.
a doctor's
Nick
office.
says, how the hell do you afford Disney with kids then?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when we took our kids like a few years ago, it was like $175 US for a 3-day park hopper, and now it's $260 US for 1-day park hopper.
For two people.
Each person was $260.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
Yeah,
like,
but before it
if
was
you bring a family,
$175.
that's
It was
crazy.
like
Trying
it's
to get all their money back from all
insane
those
from when they were
amusements
closed.
Was it Star Wars and what else? One's down there?
Yeah, something to that effect, or else.
Kelly says, ask David, one of the aircraft museum has the space shuttle.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. That would, because something we never really seen.
Yeah.
Canadians know.
Kelly says, looks awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
David Snyder says, other David S says howdy.
Hey, David.
Wes says hi. I know.
Hey, Wes.
Tuning in from way on the other side of the world.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly says, seeing a space shuttle is on his bucket list.
Jet Museum in London, Ontario.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be pretty amazing to see.
T-33 Red Knight.
David Jones, do you know where to get high sol down here in the lower 48?
We ordered our last bunch from David. If you're on, if you can comment where we got it from. I think it was McMaster Car, I believe, and I believe it was $20 a tube. So we can't buy it. Well, we can buy it and ship it to Canada. The problem is shipping is mental. So I'll have somebody buy it down there and then ship it personally to me, and it's a lot more affordable. But I think it was like $20-something US for a tube, which was if you buy a case of 10 or 12, which is way more reasonable.
David says, thank you, Ward, for the transfer.
Yes, that's for driving out the
Oh.
Bandit.
Oh, sure, no problem.
He's like,
He's like, what?
no.
Phil in England here. Good morning,
Hey,
Katie
Phil.
and company. Good morning.
Thanks for tuning in.
And it's going like, that's
Nick
just
says,
money.
Messi is good.
You want to make money off
Yeah.
I love RC. Building a T1 model F22 with a dual turbine setup.
Cool.
So if you have any suggestions or videos on how to plumb a 3-tank system,
Oh, did you?
he sent an email.
Yeah, I got your email. What I've generally been doing with emails is I try to, because I get so many emails now, I try to schedule in my emails in a block. So usually Sunday morning I'll sit down and answer emails, but if I don't on Sunday morning, I just don't answer emails for the entire weekend until Monday rolls around, and then I'll answer on Monday morning. But I did get your email. Yes, thank you. Otherwise, if I check my emails too often, I'm just constantly dealing with emails, and it breaks up my day too much. But basically, if you're doing a twin setup on the F-22, the problem with the F-22 in most scenarios is you've got the two main tanks, which are going to be just in front of the gear, and then your third tank, which is way forward of the CG. So if that's the case in your scenario, what I would generally suggest doing is pulling from the front tank first, and then feeding to the back tanks, so your twin tanks. So what that's going to be is you're going to have probably one vent coming out of your front tank. You're going to have 2 clunk lines coming to your saddle tanks. So I would put 2 clunks in that tank, two bung holes, 2 clunks. Don't worry, it's okay. We've done it on lots of F16s as well. And then your UATs are going to pull one from each of your saddles. So your front tank's emptying first into your saddles, and then your saddles are going to empty each per turbine, if that makes sense. But if it's the other way around, then you do the exact opposite. So your main tank, when you fill it up, your main tank fills up, and then it fills up the saddles, pulls from the saddles, then both your UATs will pull from the main tank. So either one of those ways works fine.
Wouldn't you be nose heavy more?
Yeah, if you do it the traditional way, where you're well, you want to drain that front tank first.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it is, because you want to get rid of the nose heavy scenario. But that's just the nature of a lot of the F22s. I'm not overly familiar with the T1. I've never seen one in person, so I don't know how the tank layout is.
Russell, David says, hope you get a Rebel soon.
Yeah, he knows the dilemma. He knows that a certain rep from a certain company that builds a certain airplane,
Called a Rebel.
called Rebel, takes the money and then doesn't inform the warehouse. And then Abby has to call him and ask for a release.
It's only if your name is Russell, it appears. Though.
Yes.
Dave, I'm shipping under your name next time. We'll get some American service instead of Canadian.
Chad Carr says, hey y'all.
Hey, Chad.
David Jones, perfect, thanks. I deal with McMaster a lot, didn't know that. And David says, I got high sol from Hisco for $21.70 for a 50 mil tube.
The other guys can see the chat too,
Yeah,
so
I
that'll
know.
make sense to them.
Hisco, I don't know where that is. That's a good price, actually.
That's for US.
Yeah, but up here,
Up here's what, 35?
so 94.62 right now is $48 a tube. So yeah,
And the stuff doesn't have
but
a
that's
long life either.
$48 a tube Canadian. So minus 30% off that, but it's still expensive.
It's ridiculous.
William B. Hey, John. Bill here from Edmonton.
Hey, Bill.
I watched a Just Plain Crazy Gator RC Top RC model F4 Phantom. Looks like they make some nice, reasonably priced ARF.
Yes.
Any thoughts on the top RC model aircraft?
I've never seen one in person, so for me to comment is not fair to them. I'll just make a general comment on even this BVM, and I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. When I tried not to let this come through in the video, but when I was unboxing the BVM F16, there's things about it that I'm not overly excited about, and one of those things is like the landing gear. So when you build a Skymaster aircraft, and I'm talking about scale aircraft, when you build a Skymaster aircraft and the legs, for example, the gear is air oil, completely adjustable, everything else after that is subpar, if that's the right way to say it. So even like the BVM F16 gear, I mean, it's nice, it's beautiful gear, but when you compare it to a Skymaster landing gear, it's just a little bit of a step below, right? There's just springs in there, that's it, no adjustment. Fine for asphalt flyers, which is great, but if you do any rough pavement or grass field stuff, the Skymaster is just so much better. So that's one of the things that I really struggle with on those less expensive kits or less known manufacturers is you're probably going to run into issues with the landing gear as far as quality goes. So the aircraft may be slightly cheaper, but I've learned that you'll pay for it in time, and it's just not worth it, honestly. Yeah.
Replacement costs of things.
Yeah, you wreck something small, and then you're trying to contact a manufacturer that doesn't generally sell a lot of used parts, for example, or parts for aircraft. So it can become a real struggle to get stuff.
David Jones, okay, which version of the high sol do you use?
Two different versions I'll show you.
The longer one and then the shorter, 30-minute one.
So we actually have 3.
Yeah, there's
but I only use 2. So 9462 is the staple. So this is for anything super critical and structural. This will kick off in about 2 to 3 hours, but it takes like about 12 hours before you can really touch it or use it or play with it. This is becoming my favorite, the EA E20HP. Now this is the 2-to-1 stuff, so you need either the high sol plunger or you need, this is the BVM gun. The BVM gun works for both because it's got a big and a small, so it works for both types of tubes. But this stuff, when we couldn't get 9462, I was using this for everything, and totally happy with this. The nice thing about this is it's a little bit quicker, so it's a 20-minute work life, which is accurate. So it starts to firm up in about 20 minutes. So you can start working with it a little bit sooner. So my gear door hooks that I put on earlier today, I actually used this stuff, the 20 HP, because I knew tonight I wanted to sand it down and make them work. The 5-minute stuff, which is the E-00NS, don't use this. It's terrible. I use it for like, if you didn't have any CA and you wanted to like stick a fitting or something on the side of a fuselage, that's all it's good for. It doesn't firm up, it's not sandable very well, it's not paintable, stays gummy, it doesn't stick to things very well, so it's kind of like that emergency epoxy. But so just use those first 2.
David S. says it's the same with Su-30. The front tank needs to empty first.
Yes.
We were probably talking about the fuel tanks.
Yeah, exactly. So the Su-30 is the plane over there. So we drain the front tank first, so it gets rid of the nose weight.
So in the F16 here, there's 2 saddle tanks then?
Yeah, basically you've got your 2 saddle tanks, a small hopper tank which sits here, but the hopper tank's like 0.8 liters.
Is there a bigger third tank?
No.
The roof is...
Those things are big.
It's deceiving, yeah.
This is the saddle tank.
Holy crow, that's good.
So the total fuel on this one is 6.8 liters. So each of those saddles is 3 liters.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 3 liters.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the front one.
Yeah, and at the ballistic speed these things go, you don't want to be up there.
Nick says high sol is $85 in New Zealand.
Oh! Maybe we should ship over a case in the sea can.
Kelly says, buy 1 tube of high sol and it would pay for you and me to go down and spend the day with them.
Jeepers.
No kidding.
We don't need an excuse, Kelly. We'll just
come visit you. Okay, so we got our connector done. I'll pull you guys in so you can see this. So this is all stuff we've covered in the video already, but we switched the linkages out on this wing. So this is the stock linkage, and that one was okay. This one I think was the crappy one. Yeah, if you look at this,
oh, it's a little bent.
it's like a Z.
Yeah.
So it's pre-bent for your pleasure. So yeah, I decided to switch these guys out, ball joints and everything. These are also 2.5 millimeter hardware. We've tapped everything to be 3 millimeters, and then we did a titanium shaft on here. So these are the old Lunsford ones. from back in the RC car days. I have a whole bunch of these things from a long time ago.
You can still get them.
Yeah, the new ones though aren't as good quality, I've heard.
No.
But these guys here, they're threaded backwards on one end, but the geometry here worked out perfect. So these are actually bottomed out in the Seacraft ball joints, and it worked out awesome. So we switched all the hardware to that. The alternative to this, of course, is using a threaded rod and then putting a piece of carbon in there, but this is a great setup. So, okay, so we've got our wiring done on that side. Now we need to do the wiring ashlock connectors on the fuselage side. No, we're going to keep it here so we can get them matched up the same.
Verify.
Yeah, we've done that work.
Cool Cat says hi to everybody.
Howdy.
I'm like,
And then asks, how are the scales applied to the Viper, the decals?
Oh, I think a lot of them are probably paint.
they're painted on.
This is all, so the Viper stuff is all paint.
Yeah.
The yellow's paint. That's paint.
That could be it.
Yeah, these could be transfers.
Over maybe?
I think this is transfers, but a lot of this stuff is the general gist of it's all painted, but you can see the paint stencils here.
Nice.
Like this is a recess, so they painted this yellow, put that on, and then pulled it off after. So, and then here this was the other way around, so they painted that after.
The paint quality on that is
Yeah, and that's
really
absolutely.
nice.
That's actually one nice thing this is the first like big BVM, which is Jet Legend, aircraft I've seen in person, and really actually very impressive compared to Skymaster. So Skymaster, some of the problems you'll have on a Skymaster are areas like this, and there's I need Trusty for this. So there's you can see right there, probably hard to see, but there's a little fill line. But the rest of the panel line is shown.
Yeah.
So on a Skymaster, you'll find that a lot of so there's a joint in the fuselage right here. So a lot of your panel lines in these areas, because they've done so much sanding, all of that detail disappears. So on this one, if a little bit of the rivet detail is disappeared, but it's still visible. But otherwise, that's way better than Skymaster does. Now Skymaster, actually we've got one over here. Let's go take a look at it.
Yeah, that comes from the old.
So this is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. So you can see here where we've got a joint on the front and back fuselage, all of our details disappear at that joint, right? So our panel lines disappear, our rivet details disappear. Now, generally it blends in nicely. I mean, you guys would never really notice this unless you know what you're looking for, right? But that's some of the differences that I've noticed. And this is typical Skymaster stuff. So
Got to paint in the new rivets.
Sheldon says, I just started my 2-meter BDXs and my first Unilite. What do you use to glue the heat sinks on and the lenses on with? Any other advice on Unilites?
I would generally use, shy away from using CA as much as possible. I used CA to glue my Sky Candy lights in my Super Elan, and all of them have come loose. The tip tank lights, the leading edge lights, and I glued my lenses on, so I need to order a new set of lenses. The other lenses need to be destroyed. I should have used shoe goop to put them on.
Like the
So
E6000.
that's what I would suggest.
Good stuff.
For Unilights, when you're gluing the light in, and it's got the heat sink on the back of the light, in that situation you can use CA because there's some mechanical adhesion there, like you'll get CA going behind the hole you cut in. But for your lenses, I would suggest using E6000 or shoe goop.
Kelly says, come on down.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
David Jones says, many thanks. Really enjoy your content and your candid responses.
Thank you.
And Nick says, yes, seen control rod in quarter scale machine flutter on tail, less than second bent, massive control rod, 90 degrees.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Flutter is brutal.
Flutters.
One other little trick. I don't think I've ever talked about this in my videos, maybe the F4 video. So a trick with ball joints. Katie, you need to come in here. This is something I don't often talk about because it's one of those poo-poo things that people will tell me that I'm stupid and I shouldn't be doing this. But so when I put this linkage together, there's always play in ball joints. I found the old ball joints, like from 5 years ago, they were tight. All the new ball joints, they all seem to have play in them. So you have to deal with that play somehow. So what I do is when I put these on, I take a little bit of thin CA and I put a drop on each ball joint. Spray some kicker on there and then just work the ball joint back and forth. The ball joint's gonna still remain loose and it's gonna pop the CA free. But what it does is it fills that void between the ball and the plastic end and it fills up that whole void. It just wicks itself around.
It acts like a cartilage.
Yeah, exactly like a cartilage. That's a great way to look at it. And then what I do once I've popped them free and they're cured is I take a little bit of light machine oil, put it on each side, and then now this surface had a little bit of flutter, or sorry, a little bit of movement before, and that movement was purely in the balls, wasn't in the servo, and now there's absolutely zero movement in this surface. There's zero play there. So little secret for you guys. Again, I don't talk about it in my regular videos because most guys would think it's a stupid thing to do, but it's not. It works amazingly well.
A sticky situation.
Nick says, don't forget to video.
Yes.
Thanks, Nick.
Nick, you're hired. I need you on every live stream just to do that. Thank you.
David wants to know what the 3D printer is printing.
Oh,
you can
good
hear?
call.
Oh, it's rumbling tonight.
So,
It's the small one. It's not even the big.
I'll just come in there. So we're printing a new riser thing. So this black thing here, it's called a riser. So I can open this up and ventilate it easy. Right now we're printing ABS, so it needs high temperatures. So this riser thing, there's 4 pieces that go on top. A whole system that goes in here. It's got spool holders and everything. The AMS goes on top of that. So there's a whole bunch of parts to print for this, but that's what we're printing is a better riser setup. And I was actually printing it with the Cheaty machine earlier, and the Cheaty machine actually prints ABS better than the bamboo machine, which is sad, because this has a heated chamber. So the entire chamber was sitting at 55 degrees. I was printing this. This is one of the trays that actually goes in here. So there's a little tool tray that pulls out. And there was some sort of software issue which shut the machine down. But it was printing so nice. So nice. But anyways, I was just about to restart it and then the live stream started. So. And then this morning we were printing the mounts for the servos. Yeah, lots of good stuff. That thing's almost going 24/7 now. Oh, we did print a big worm. You guys, where is that?
It's
Cadence
just on the
have it?
counter.
Can you go grab it?
Yeah,
Is
stop
it-
from there and you're breaking into.
We
not-
printed a huge one.
Okay.
Oh, you were that block thing that you have in the video.
She might have taken it.
Oh, Cadence might have taken it? Oh. I printed this huge worm for my daughter. Where's your phone, Katie?
In there.
Oh. It's like, it was this big, it's called a slug, and it was this big around.
It's gone? Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So anyways, we printed that it was a 48-hour print. I used 2-color, so dual color silk PLA, and it was just beautiful, like blue and purple. So
Textured out and grayed down.
yeah, it was pretty neat.
David Jones says his wife got him an early Christmas present, an FL Sun V400 Delta printer.
Cool.
He's planning on getting in the cockpit making business.
Nice.
Yeah, there's always, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with these things. It's pretty cool.
Nick asks, how much wastage do you get with 3D printer?
It depends on what you're printing. So with a single color print, almost zero, as long as the prints work out, there's like zero wastage. But when you print the bamboo and you're doing dual color pieces, like these here, so I printed these guys. So this is dual color. The only wastage you get is when it switches from green to black, which is the last couple layers. But if you were to print this standing up like this, you're going to get a ton of wastage because it prints the green from the bottom, then it's going to switch to black, print those two little lines, switch to green, black, so you would probably waste a ton if you printed it like this versus like that. So it depends on what you're printing.
He wants to know how long it is before Russell gets an apron and what color.
Red. Have to be red. Maybe blue like my transmitter.
Yeah.
Maybe blue.
Exactly.
I like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Luna.
Oh, here's the Luna Lou.
She was feeling left out.
Getting a little
Right?
airtime, huh?
You feeling left out in the house?
Yeah, the cat's taking too much time. No belly rubs.
Well, Nez has abandoned me. She doesn't want to be here in here anymore.
Really?
Nez is not liking the garage.
Well, last weekend I put the new engine in the kinetics.
Yeah, I ran it.
She was sleeping on the chair with her harness and her leash on because we had had the door open and closed. So she was like fast asleep on the chair. Started up the kinetics and you could see her look up and her eyes went buggy and then she's like, boo! Took off for the door and of course her leash stopped her. So I think she's been traumatized since then because she hasn't come out here at all this past week. She comes out maybe for a little bit, but she's like super high strung. It's pretty funny. So I've lost my favorite shop cat.
But it was funny. It was funny.
Waz says Russell gets a pink apron.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, hot pink. We used to wear those colors in the 80s and 90s. Dress shirts.
Yeah. Purples.
Yeah. Oh, I love purple, so I still have purple.
Purple silk shirts.
Yes.
Fluffy.
Silk ties. Well, no, that's the late 70s, early 80s with the fluffy stuff.
So we're just putting our connectors on for the Ashlock connector on the fuselage side.
Those are Ashlock pins that you're using.
Ooh, yes they are.
Yeah, remember we set that
Well,
up?
I know because they don't hook into the.
No, they're not compatible.
No. Found that out. Always find new details.
See, and that's why I like making my own servo connectors because I can look,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're not good,
Redo them.
you can pull it off and redo it. Need one more pin.
That's a small one too.
Yeah, the small one.
We're almost out.
Got lots in the bags in there.
A lot of air sequencers in here.
The BVM one is, you've just got individual valves, right?
So the red and blue, that's for brakes.
Well, the way this is laid out, so you've got brake, gear, but you've got gear one side, gear the other side.
Oh, left and right. Kind
So it's like using a brake valve,
Okay.
just a single valve,
Yep.
but it does single one side, single the other side. Kind of a neat setup.
It kind of looks like small little cartridges for a printer.
Yeah. The line's all small though, right? It's all 2mm line.
Oh God, it's small on the inside.
Yeah, it's interesting. But the connectors are nice. They work really well. They're kind of a push on, and there's a little keeper that goes over top of them. Okay, connector.
Sure, who's in the right holes?
Yep.
Female, males. Leaving them. You're not going to go out, Luna. You know.
Okay.
Can she go out?
Oh yeah, she can go out.
She's looking like this is her man.
Okay, white servos there.
Echo Smoke. What's his first name?
Joe.
Joe, that's right. Wants to know if the fuel station made it easy to figure out fuel usage on the kinetic.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And even taking it out. So what we did, Joe, was that first flight, did we take it out or we just added back in?
just added back
yeah,
in.
so we just added back in. It was awesome. Makes things so much easier. And then the last flight of the day, I measured it taking out. So it was, yeah, very handy. Very handy. I love my fuel station from rccustom3dprinting.com.
Plug.
I love RC says, I thought the F16 third tank was for smoke.
The F16 actually has 5 tanks. So it's 1, 2 hopper tank, if you want to call it that, and then 2 that come over here, which are these guys. So these are the smoke tanks. So these are, what's the smoke volume on this thing? 2 liters. So those are 1 liters each for the smoke system.
It's about what size, what's his name? Christopher had in his, the smaller one too.
Yeah, well, they're probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they just use the same ones because you'd be able to fit them in there, I think, so.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because I was amazed at how much smoke oil he had on that.
Yeah.
Little F16 when he took off. That little 140 would just.
Yeah, when they used the smoke on the tuner and that beautiful clear day on
Oh man, it was
Saturday,
so
was
nice
like
last
everything
weekend.
was just right there. It's just like, you could actually.
0 wind, so like I was doing loops with the smoke on and the smoke was just hanging in the sky.
He's trying to look at us and do that smile.
Yeah.
Face, like the face.
I was
he
trying to
does
get
the
him-
eyebrows and the.
Well, Cecil had his radio kind of set up funny, so it was a weird switch for me.
Well, he's
So.
an ex-pilot guy. Forgive him.
I was trying to get the right lighter side of RC in the sky, but he said he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very rare to find days like that with the smoke just.
Mhm.
It's usually like in the evening, right? When the wind's down.
There was no breeze or nothing.
Or sometimes first thing in the morning, it's like dead calm.
Jonathan even had to change his pants because it was getting too hot.
Oh yeah, last weekend was extremely warm compared to today. I think it all got to like 9.
Well, the past couple of days have been freezing
Yeah,
comparatively.
just about like freezing.
Just rain.
Fog and rain the last couple of days,
So we're gonna put a little bit of spiral wrap, not because it needs it, but
just to hold
just to hold it all together.
it, keep it snug.
Because it's got a rubber fitting that it's going through, but this is cleaner.
Yeah,
David Jones says, I see that the Venom has speed brakes. I put a set on a 70 millimeter E-Flight Thunderbird
Cool.
F16. They are way more effective than I was ready for. Broke the gear, but is repairable. Dead stop at about 1 meter. Yikes.
Yeah, any airplane with air brakes like that, like the A-10's a good example. It's deceiving because you put the split ailerons come out like this,
Yeah.
and you need to carry half throttle to the ground. The plane will sit there and float and float and float, but if you're not carrying throttle to the ground, eventually it does exactly what you just said.
comes the mother.
The Carf Tudor was like that too. A lot of guys when that plane came out, guys were adding the speed brakes on the back of the fuselage. And with the Tudor, it was so effective, you needed to carry a ton of throttle to the ground. I never added it to mine, but it was, a lot of guys did. All right, video time. Just for you, Nick.
Yep, he just mentioned it. Says, I suppose that a little bit of extra weight's not going to make a difference.
For the, who said that?
Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Can't let me get this big.
All right, so we have our connectors done on the fuselage side. Put a little bit of spiral wrap on there just to keep everything bundled together. It's not overly necessary though because they put a rubber grommet where it comes through the fuselage, but this is just a nice way to finish it off. So that part's done. We've got both wings done for our ash lock connector as well. So both of those wings have had their servo switched out to the 9930 MKS servo, linkages switched out, ash lock connector switched out. We've added the power box connector or wire segment to the servo pocket, and we will put the tip tanks on and missiles, but we're going to do that near the end of the aircraft build.
Sheldon says, I did the maiden on my Rebel Max with Swiwen 300 last week, and I think I could use a speed brake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of.
How did that?
A lot of engine.
Yeah, how did that go? I'm curious. Did you switch the pipe too? I've been following the thread on RC Universe. I saw your pictures on there, but I was going to ask you how that went. I'm actually genuinely curious on that aircraft.
Yeah,
because that's a lot of engine.
I did, because when I had the Pro with the 240, that was a lot of engine.
Yeah.
That was like flying what you said, like like that 300.
He said went great. Pipe is fine.
Is it the stock pipe? Must be.
Yeah, it's a big pipe. I think it's 4.5 inches.
Oh, okay. So it's good.
When Colville was saying it's big.
Yeah.
He says, I fly at 6,000 feet in Denver, so it's really just a 240 stock,
that's right.
stock pipe.
Right. This is the guy. Yeah. Yeah, he's at very thin air.
High altitude.
He was the one who had issues landing the speed, coming in hot.
Well, yeah, the 300 is going to carry, going to be a lot more idle power. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's going to be pulling a lot more.
I don't even think I have pictures of when we did the test run on this 300 here, but I think the idle thrust on a 300 is pretty high. Like I'm talking like 5-6 pounds or something like that. So it's pretty substantial.
Yeah. Very nice flying planes. So nice.
Looks like 5's good. That's all we need, Ward.
Was 5 good?
Yeah, because
Five there?
it's got the light connect. Yeah, 2 of them were jammed together. So.
Oh, okay, that's what I was getting, because I got only 4. Thought I might have dropped it because I picked up 5. And
So focused.
yeah, come on, people, talk.
It's amazing when you do this, you're still young enough, you don't need. I have to take my glasses off and get like his contact. Like I'm doing like watch work. That's what it takes me.
Yeah,
2 times as long as compared to Jonathan.
my contacts aren't for seeing up close.
Oh man.
David said, Kelly painted a pair of very nice missiles on missile rails for the F16. He still has them and will use them on the Venom.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
David, do you generally transport it with the tip tanks off, or do the bags hold the rails? Do the bags hold the rails on at the same time, or do the rails and the missiles come off?
And David Jones says, so I got the XSRC MB 339
Yeah.
Wind RC. They recommend max 120. I saw the dimensions of the Swiwen 120 and 140 are the same.
Yes.
So I opted for the 140. Think it will be okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
Power back.
I usually have guys too that they'll reach out to me and be like, hey, do you have a 170 in stock? And some planes, that's all you need is the lower of the 2 counterparts. But the Swiwen lineup, for the most part, has pairs of engines. So you've got a 60 and an 80. You've got a 120, 140, 170, 190, 220, 240. All of those engines are exactly the same case size, weight, dimension, everything. You'll find the engines with the higher output have a little bit higher RPM. That's the only difference. So I would generally always opt for the higher output engine. You can always knock it down a little bit, but at least you've got the option. Now the higher output engine does cost more money, but that's the way their setup's paired. So I would definitely, in your situation, I would go with the 140, because if you ever switch planes,
Exactly.
you have an engine that's more useful for other
Yes,
planes too.
for looking
So
for different sizes.
exactly.
Nick says it's amazing you can work on and around that paint job.
That's a nice paint job.
A lot of polishing back.
She's shiny.
She's like a Porsche, that one, or a Ferrari.
Eric says, what an amazing build, watching closely from North Bay, Ontario.
Oh, thank you.
David says the bags are loose enough to accommodate the missiles on the wings.
Oh, good. Okay.
When in doubt,
I need one more connector. I messed this one up.
that's what I say. When in doubt, pull it out.
Yeah, so we're actually pretty much done the back end of this aircraft. I had the pipe in here earlier today, but because we needed to work on the doors and flip it upside down, I ended up taking the pipe out again. But we are done in the back end, basically done with the figuring out the nuts and bolts of the chute mechanism. There's a little bit of figuring out left to do for the plunger setup, but I've got the air cylinder all mounted. We did that last night. And engine rails are all sorted, pipe mounting to the engine rails all sorted, tanks have been pulled and checked, so those are ready to go back in once our gear door locks are done. So actually, like tomorrow, our back end will be pretty much complete on this plane, gear and everything, and then we'll be working towards the front portion and just getting stuff organized. So this one's actually pretty close. So we're going to California on Thursday. Probably by Thursday, this plane will be done, is my thinking. Can I have my poker?
Sheldon says, I've been following some folks that are trying to get fuel bags legal in the US. Are they legal in Canada? And what is your opinion of fuel bags versus tanks?
They are not legal in Canada. I think they're cool. They're a great idea.
Yeah.
But I don't think, unless a lot changes, I don't think they'll ever be legal. It's been the same thing in Canada. Guys have wanted to use them for a long time, and there are some guys that use them and they just use them, right? So, yeah. But I think it's a good way to do it. Like, I mean, obviously it's like commonplace in Europe, so saves a ton of weight. You don't have any air bubbles because your bag is collapsing as your turbine's sucking air. Like it's almost a perfect setup.
You can put it anywhere because it'll just shape into where you're.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty awesome.
David wants to know when you're building racks with the wood behind you.
I did actually already.
Build one already.
There's one over there. So yeah, a little bit of shop reorganization. So we built this one, which is for. That's, I think, where it was going to stay. So initially I was going to build two of these and have them right in the center. And we're going to have aircraft on both sides. The problem is then you lose all the open space, and I like this open space. So I think what we're going to do, we were going to do it this weekend, but I didn't pick up more wood. So we're going to take these shelves here, which are like my parts shelves where I store all my crap. And we're going to put them on the back side of that rack there. So to access those silver shelves, we're going to come right here to access them, which means we got to clean some of this stuff up, but that's not a big deal. We have a bunch of house stuff still that I can get rid of or move around. And then we're going to put another airplane rack here. So an exact match to this one. I'm going to put that right there. It's the same amount of room as that one, so we can fit a whole bunch of big planes in this area. And then we still have freedom in the middle to be able to put boxes or planes or tables. Like when I was doing all the epoxy work for the F16, this is where I was doing it. I have good lighting underneath here as well. So yeah, maybe in a couple weeks we'll build another one. Because there's not enough there to build a full
When you get
system.
back,
So
how's that?
yeah.
Nick says, getting severely smashed by wind at the present. Nice to be watching this indoors.
Yeah.
Says Waz can keep the wind in Tasmania.
We've had crazy fog lately, like the past 2 mornings.
Yeah.
It's so foggy.
And then Nick says fire risk, I suppose, probably for the fuel bags.
I think so. Like that's a lot of our rules and regulations are from a long time ago, right? So
I'm sure technology and stuff has come along.
yeah,
Yeah.
It should be something that could be approached, I think. They should approach them and say, no. And then they have to do their test to make sure that they're going to be safe.
Probably those fuel bags are actually Kevlar made.
well, they're probably safer than a fuel tank. Like it doesn't matter whether it's Kevlar or fiberglass. Big enough impact it shatters or breaks or whatever, right? So a fuel bag, maybe it has, unless something punctures it, it's got better risk of like completely exploding, I think. I've never used one, but I've watched lots of videos on it and video or build threads and stuff, and they look pretty awesome.
David asks, will the XXL F14 fit on the rack?
Well, it's 2 feet longer than that SU, and that SU doesn't have its nose cone or the tail on, so no, it won't fit on the rack. We need that F18 up there to be purchased by somebody so the F14 XL can go up there, although I don't think it'll fit up there with width-wise. Yeah, I don't think the width would fit. That's 4 feet, and I think the fuselage is wider than 4 feet.
So you just need to build a new shop.
Yeah, I need a new shop.
We're taking donations.
Yeah. Need about $120,000 in donations.
Said something last time, David, was C-can, right? We need a C-can for storage or something.
Yeah, some more storage would be nice.
Yeah.
And what's on the schedule after the F16, David wants to know.
So the F16 after this one is the SU. I'm thinking I'm also going to start my T33 and just kind of plug away at it slowly, so it'll be off to the side on one table, and we'll just do little parts on it here and there. I think is the plan for that guy.
These are for Saturdays. I like that plane.
Waz says, yes, Nick, it's been windy here. Severe crosswinds landing his Cessna 182T yesterday.
Aye.
Yikes. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Not a small plane, it's not fun.
Nick says, a lot of fire restrictions in U.S., not allowed to fly turbines in the summer. I think that's mostly like if there's fire bans on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty commonplace in many areas now.
Yeah, up here we get it like July, August, depends on how dry it is.
Yeah, it's hit and miss. Like it can
Yeah.
either be really good or really bad.
Yeah, like August, well, the interior BC was burning, and also Montana was burning, like in
Yeah.
August.
Drove by a couple fires.
July.
You see on the other side of the mountain there, the smoke coming
Yeah.
up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pass me those snips.
David says, yes, excellent idea on a new shop.
Yeah.
So that's in-floor heating where I'm.
Dragon Killer. What is sad is that the AH-64 Apache has fuel bags in it, so I don't see why they are not used in models.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's how they even transport fuel in the military.
Oh yeah,
They
they have.
have bags and they put them in the back of the plane. And
Well, they have huge ones. You have like 5,000-6,000 liter
boy, easily.
rubber bladders, and they have them all together. Not only for transport, but they did it back in the day when I was in aircraft maintenance. They were ferrying airplanes all the way from Africa, and they would put those in the fuselage. So
Yeah, but we're just little modelers with no say,
no.
so
I know. But
nobody
it's just like-
really cares about us.
I know. It's just like big fuel bag.
David Jones says, real fighter jets have bladders and foam. Works very well in case of rupture. Slowly leaks. Bladders
Yeah.
have very thick walls. Served in the USAF for 20 years.
Yeah.
Jet engine mechanic.
Yeah, he would know. He would absolutely know.
Sometimes the bullet goes right through it and it seals itself. So
Self-sealing, yeah. Kevlar too, it'd be very puncture resistant. Not puncture, but very resistant.
resistance.
Cleanup time.
Resistance is futile.
David F says, have you decided on the color scheme on the T33?
Yes. I can't show you because it's on my phone, but we're doing the, what's it called? Red Knights.
Red Knight.
Yeah, the Red Knights, which are, it's a Canadian scheme, so it's actually pretty simple. All red, some black markings and stuff. I think a maple leaf type thing on the underside. Pretty cool scale.
Try to bring it up.
Pretty cool looking scale. So yeah, that's what I think we're gonna do on the T33. Yeah.
David S says, by the time SU, Super Bandit, and T33 are done, F14 will arrive.
Yep.
Maybe fit in a classic Ultra Bandit in between.
Yeah, maybe you mean. I think will fit in a classic Ultra Bandit. Hey, look, it's written up on the thing. So yeah, this is the Red Knight scheme. This one doesn't really show it. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit of the black on the top of the tip tank there. Yeah, the Red Knight scheme.
The
Classy, clean, easy.
knight on the front is actually different for each station that they're at.
Yeah.
So like Moose Jaw, Grand Prairie, where is it? Trenton, and there's another one in Saskatchewan. That's the funny thing about it, is that each one was a different knight on the front of it. I'm trying to find out the one from Moose Jaw.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one from Moose Jaw because that's the one that's all crashed.
So I'm going to reach out to Cali Graphics and see if she's got
Oh, she?
the graphics package for it. I mean, it's not a common.
No. But a lot of
I've never seen a model done in Red Knight
No,
scheme, so.
But I've never seen like that blue, like that hawk done like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
Sheldon says, Black Diamond T33 is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And Nick
Agreed.
says, nice scheme for the T33.
There's a lot of nice schemes, actually.
Yeah.
When I look at the T33 schemes, I would be happy with probably almost 75% of them. When I look at some plane schemes, it's like I'm happy with 1 out of 10 maybe. So yeah, the T33s, I like a lot of their schemes, but. Okay, so we're gonna flip this guy over.
We have a hello from Miami, Florida.
Howdy, Miami, Florida.
Miami, it's nice to work down there. Still.
David says, will be a nice T33, lots to maiden in Montana.
Yeah, no kidding.
You get that little antenna thing, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
David Jones says, have a good night. Thank you for your content.
Ciao, thanks for tuning in.
Who's David? That guy David?
No,
He's on there.
he's on there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Another David.
He mentioned David from LA. He mentioned something about another airplane from Park.
Not to me. He might have I know David's got a,
He said something about it. I'm not saying anything because he
I don't know.
showed pictures of color scheme and stuff like that, and I was like,
Okay, so this is the 20-minute high sol that we used here. So this is probably, when did I glue these in? You were here when I glued this in, right? So maybe
About 4:30.
4 hours ago or something like that. So it's pretty much set off now and we can do our work to this. I mean, it's still a little bit jelly, but it's strong enough that I can take it and force it and it's not going anywhere, so. Yeah, exactly.
Craig says bye, he has to go.
Ciao, Craig, thanks for tuning in.
And Russell, David's still on.
oh, good man, David. He and I texted about a Rebel Pro.
Quiet and shop.
All right, so we flipped the aircraft back over and it's time to work on our gear door locks. So what we are doing here is, of course, we've talked about everything so far, but we have to now make a slot in our piece that we glued in. So this was done with 20-minute high sol. It's been about 4 hours and this is kicked off now. It's still a little bit flexible, but we can take this and squeeze it and move it around and it's not going anywhere. So we kind of have a rough layout here of what we need to do, but we're just going to take this slow. So we're going to start making our slot close to the base, putting it in, testing it, and expanding that slot as we need to. Now the slot doesn't need to be extremely tight. Really what it needs to do is it just needs to lock that door in place and lock this gear from pushing the doors open. So yeah, so anyways, we're going to play around with this. I'll do one and we'll kind of show you guys what we end up looking like here. Now once this slot's cut in here, we can probably shrink the size of this down, but we went too big to make sure we had enough space to be able to do everything. And then once this is all complete, we'll just paint that white and it will completely disappear.
David says he's got a Rebel Pro coming.
Didn't hear from me, but
Well, it's probably not coming here. It's probably going to Danny, I would assume. So.
I don't know. He said something like next year.
Oh.
In that kind of that bob wire kind of scheme, I call it.
Oh, cool.
With the yeah, actually, kind of nice.
Okay, so these are. Let's do some measuring here instead of just guessing.
Gotta move faster than that.
Yeah, well, still not quite up to speed.
Yeah. Okay, so our outside skins line up. So if we measure outside skin to base of servo arm, we're about 5.75 millimeters.
Gotcha.
So outside measurement 5.75. So our slot needs to start on this side basically tight with that white thing, so right at the base of that. So we'll keep our slot as tight as possible and that'll actually work out good. Now our Dremel bit is going to be a little bit wide.
You got something smaller? A bit smaller?
David said the high G's on his other F16 with the Beast pulled the doors open.
Yeah. See, the problem with the gear on here too is there's no lock.
Yeah, 'cause just as you did that,
yeah.
it moves.
Like the gear just kind of floats in there, right? So yeah, the cylinder's obviously holding it closed, but the gear can just sit there and float around.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the doors are going to pop open, the gear's going to pop open like that. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's why you need a lock on the door.
Yeah.
That's servo, yeah. Sacrifice that little servo.
So we've got the diamond bit, I think would probably be better. Yeah, we're going to use that guy. So this is the other bit that we're using. So this is my normal bit that I use a ton. It's like a 1/8 inch carbide bit that cuts through everything. This is a diamond bit, so obviously a lot more fine, but we've got more control and we don't need this much of a gap for our servo arm, at least I don't think. So we'll start off with this guy and see how that works.
It looks like something the dentist used.
Yeah.
Root canals.
Totally.
You're like,
Nick says amazing they can get the gear in that little hole.
it's an amazing, like, the engineering when you see it. Yeah, it is. And how strong it is when it's set up, because that's a big plane when it lands.
David says a local LA guy will assemble the Rebel Pro. Danny is busy with Diablo and DBXs.
Yes. OBDX. Ready? Sorry guys, got a vacuum. I think that's going to work perfect. The only problem is getting in there to actually make it work. Oh my gosh.
Snug?
Snug like a bug in a rug.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna move. That even flexes, that's not much.
That's awesome.
It's just to prevent it from moving from the inertial.
Yeah.
You think you have to reach in every time to do this? You see?
I guess got to try and find it again. Oh, there it is.
Spider-Man says, can a centerline drop tank be modified to be part of the fuel system setup?
Yes.
Anything can be.
DreamWorks actually had one. Can you just hold the fuselage and make sure it doesn't tip? DreamWorks, oh, this is exciting. DreamWorks actually used to sell one. I think it was an F16 style center drop tank with a, what's your hand word? With a fuel system in it.
You get it so tight you can't get it out?
No.
There it goes. It flopped up.
So yes, they can be modified. It's a lot easier if you can leave the tank mounted, obviously, and not have to take it on and off and on and off. But so there we go. If you guys come in and take a look, that is what we did. So just simply added a little slot. Servo arm fits in there perfectly. We've got the servo arm from when we were getting this all set up. So I knew exactly how far to go in, and that worked out beautifully.
Film it.
So that's
Oh, he's got one more.
yeah, that's wicked.
Okay.
I thought he filmed it.
No, I'm not the slot making. You filmed?
It should be the same thickness on this side.
It's a little bit of a different position, but yeah, it'll still be the same.
Really close.
All right, this door worked out absolutely perfect, this little lock. So I just used the diamond bit from my Dremel, which is a really fine bit, and we made a slot there. Now the slot was easy to figure out because we marked where our servo arm was sitting before. So all we had to do was come in as far as the servo arm sits in there, and we just close this, push the servo, cancel that part, and we just close this, push the servo arm over, and it locks perfectly. So that is a great solution to that issue. Success. Now we can put our wheel back on.
Do you want me to, or did you already Loctite all the screws?
Yeah, that's all done.
Okay.
Nick says, considering the real weight it carries, full size virtually its own weight.
Say that again.
Considering the real weight it carries, full size, virtually its own weight.
Yeah.
David says, magically awesome.
Thanks, David.
And then we may need the nose door to lock as well the same way.
Okay.
So you already got them flat spotted now.
Yeah, these were all mounted already, but I had to take them off to get access to it all.
Yeah. What'd you say? You never trust the factory. Yeah, you can even see the flat spot.
All right, blue and blue.
What is that, 2 mil? 2 mil little
2.5.
2.5 burrow screw? Set screw?
And then there's teeny ones in the front. I mean, very tiny ones.
Anything smaller than that, I'm like,
Oh, smaller than that.
I start losing my glue.
They go into the hubcaps. Best way to describe it.
I could never work on fine watches.
That's what magnifying glasses are for you to get this thing. Wear it on your head and it comes down.
Sheldon says, most sport jets do not have gear doors.
Exactly.
That is all.
Yeah, that's true.
The cool sports jets have gear doors.
Yeah, the
David
real.
says, woohoo, on Loctite.
Woohoo.
Just filled it up. Already went through one little bottle on this entire aircraft. Come on, BVM, get your act in gear. And I'll say that I was editing a video today. I think that's going to be video number 4 for this aircraft. And I recorded a part in the video that I really didn't think I was going to leave in the video, but I ended up leaving it in the video, at least so far. We'll see. But it's a bit of a call out to manufacturers, not necessarily BVM specifically, but just manufacturers in general. You know, if you ship somebody a plane like this and you call it a Go Fly Gold package and the fuselage is already bolted together, use Loctite on your fuselage. You know, you're calling it an ARF where you should just be able to install an engine and a receiver and go fly it and do a little bit of stuff in their manual, but yeah, the amount of Loctite we've used on this plane is nuts already. Anyways, we'll see if that makes it in the video. I'm not sure.
Nick
Cool.
says you need more Loctite for going Mach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we have multiple big bottles here in the shop.
Ryan Roy says, all done painting the 1/5 scale Panther with scale cockpit and moving pilot. Now need to choose the right turbine.
Have you chosen yet? We're talking about a 170.
More power!
190.
190.
300!
If you can, shoehorn a 190 in, I mean, then you
Cool.
open up more jets after.
You got a text asking for the price on the F-18.
Oh, are you still watching? I can't answer your text because we're filming on my phone, but if you're still watching and you texted me about the price on the F-18, we'll talk about it after. But it's a good price, so.
David says, gotta go, we'll see the rest tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yep. Sleep fast.
Brian says, has a 190, but that's for his F-16.
Yeah.
We never even saw it first time.
All right, so we'll mount that guy back.
They're all there.
See you Thursday, David.
We're missing one of them.
Oh, all three. There are 3 right there. Shoot.
Oh yeah, there's one in there.
Yeah. I made sure.
Don't lose the little screws,
Yeah, teeny tiny things.
as small as they get.
Man, that's a small hole too. Like
It's like watch screws.
yeah, when it's, yeah.
Well, if you want, look at.
Let's see how small they are.
God.
I can't, what? Where is it?
Yeah,
Katie can't see up close.
Oh, there we go. My eyesight's bad.
I'm glad these. I'm glad this little screwdriver is magnetic.
I took one out, took it, dropped it in, came back, took the next one, took it over, dropped it in, did the same thing for the third one. There's nobody else going to put them on the deck.
Oh yeah,
No
you never
way.
find them
No,
again.
No.
And plus, Jonathan screams too loud when it is the screws. It's just not like that.
Well, and the problem with these ones is they're not the small BVM screws, like the little panel screws and stuff for gluing panels on. They're smaller than that. So that's the problem with them, is I don't have any.
My problem is I can't read like small print.
You know, you're reading the meal was mid-40s.
Like
Yeah,
on
no,
a
just
bottle of like Tylenol or something, or like I'm like,
No, I was back like this, like arms like, and then without my, yeah, if I wear my contacts, it's.
Should we do that one, or you want to wait?
No, we'll do this one too.
Okay.
It's quick. So this one we've got a bit more room with it because that servo's spaced down a little bit.
Good catch.
So I'll just hug it tight and then we'll adjust it from there.
Excuse me. Gotta go over this side.
That was sketchball word.
I know.
Brian says, good catch. Arnold says, look at the lack of the
Beautiful.
Loctite as a manufacturer perspective. Saves them the cost, plus when the kit becomes re-kitted, then they can sell you another kit.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that the sad truth, eh?
Seems to be with just about everything.
Plus, it might put an extra $4,000 on the price of the plane.
When I recorded that little bit, I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to make it in the video, because anytime I do something like this and I call a manufacturer out, everybody seems to hate me, just like the radio test.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's not go there, okay?
That's still lingering.
Well, I had somebody contact me to like, hey, I can't find the radio test. Can you send me the link to the radio test? It's like, oh, great. All right, so that worked out awesome too. Super cool. So I'm going to leave those full height right now. I don't know if I'm going to sand them down anymore. I'm going to ponder that. So I'm not going to paint them yet until I think about that some more.
You don't really need to, because this one has some strength there.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's carbon ply carbon, but I think once it's painted, you'll never see that anyways. So it's
So-
tiny.
You made those and glued that on there?
Yeah.
So you had the wood?
Yeah, it's a piece of it's actually a piece of board from my one of my planes. I can't remember which plane it was, but
That's why you always keep the extra pieces. You never know when it's going to come in handy.
all right.
Loctite.
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 How about brake? We need a brake too.
Break first.
Is it this one?
Blue, yeah.
Yeah, blue. Don't use the red, the high pressure red.
No, the screwdriver. Oh, or the Allen wrench.
Beautiful.
Brian says people get so uptight about their radios. I think they all have pros and cons and a lot of personal preference.
Yep.
It's just like pickup trucks. People get, oh, same thing. Yeah. Oh, you just.
Everybody should know is whatever you own is the best.
It's the best for what you're using.
Defend my radio choice to the grave.
Well, they sacrifice walkie-talkies now and then, don't they?
Paper towel, please. Thank you.
Beep, 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 beep.
Phil says, yeah, but would you really trust a manufacturer that says, yes, of course we Loctite everything?
No, I wouldn't. It would take many plane builds from that manufacturer to actually trust them.
Reassure you, yeah. That's for talk, that's true.
Yeah,
Cool cat. Want to hear a joke?
of course.
And Brian says, it's what makes you happy that counts.
What's that?
The little cover plate.
Is that the hubcap?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. And it's got that tiny little screw on it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, don't. We breathe on that, they go away.
Yeah, he's gonna make me stand here. Because if I sneeze or anything like that, I'm dead.
Oh, man.
No, you just need to go down to Florida to get some more screws.
It's amazing you can actually see those. Those are tiny. Those are like watch screws.
Is the Jetty DS16 a good radio, or do you recommend the DS24 for a first radio?
The 16 Gen 2, which is the new one, is actually a really great radio. It's for the average person, it's all the radio you'll ever need. So the 16, you have access to 24 channels. You've got a color screen. You've got 900 megahertz now. So there's really absolutely nothing wrong with the 16. The only thing you're lacking is some programming functions. So the F14 as an example, if we were to try and set the F14 up on a 16 radio, You wouldn't be able to do it properly with all the functions that we have built into that airplane, but it's also the most complicated airplane ever to program with all the different flight conditions. But the 16, awesome radio. And you also, I guess the other thing is you lose all the things on the back of the radio. So what that looks like.
Switches, yeah.
Yeah, which can be important on some planes. So the 16, you've got this exact same layout here, but you're missing all of this stuff.
So you don't have the slide, a slider lock or an up and down.
Yeah, you got monetary buttons here, like trim buttons, or you could use them for actuating stuff. You've got an SM switch and a toggle switch. So on the, what's that red and white plane? The Strega, we use this as the starting button,
Oh, makes sense.
right? So we have to put the choke on, which is that one, and then this is our switch. When you hold this down, the starter engages. So that's what we use that one for. And as soon as you let go, the starter disengages.
Phil says, okay, I'll have to send you one of mine next year. We really do use Loctite. Cool Cat, the joke. Guy goes to the chemist and says, I want some deodorant, please. And the assistant says, ball or aerosol? The man replies, neither. I was going to use it on my armpits.
Nice. And you know, we did all that recording earlier, and my microphone is over here.
Oh, no.
Because
For that one? Oh,
yes,
yeah.
for this one, because I got two different mic systems. I just looked at the camera and I was like, hey, wait a sec. Gotta double mic myself here.
Double mic yourself.
Here, we'll do this.
Do that one.
Gotta go back for all the...
Well, we just did the fuselage connectors, right? The wing, yes, okay. So let's cover the wing again. So cancel the last few video clips. This is all with a microphone properly. Okay guys, so wings are done. We've got all of our connectors switched here to Ashlock connectors. When we put this plane together, the Ashlock is going to just plug into the wing like that. We've put snakeskin on there, and this is going to make getting these things together nice and easy. Servos have all been switched. We switched the linkage system here as well to brand new balls and an old Lunsford titanium arm. So the nice thing about this geometry is the rod here actually threads all the way in to the ball joint, so it actually worked out perfectly, and then we added washers on the end. Now, cancel the So that's the wings. Switch the connectors out on the fuselage side to the Ashlock connector, and that's pretty straightforward. Put a little bit of wire wrap on there to protect the wires. Doesn't really need it because it's going through a rubber grommet, but just keeps things nice and tight and compact. Next thing we moved on to, I'm recording all this again because my microphone had issues, is the door lock here. So we've already done these and they worked out just beautifully. So we took a diamond bit for the Dremel and made these little slots. And these worked out absolutely beautiful. So we closed these up, moved the arm over, and they lock the doors perfectly. So I don't think we're going to do any more sanding here. I think we're going to keep it that size, but paint it white. I know it's going to look really big on the camera, but there is the size of the little hook. And once we paint that white, it's pretty much going to disappear. Put the tires back on, and the gear doors and main gear are complete. Whew!
David Faltus, how about doing a video on Swewin settings and adjustments in the future?
Well, that might get me into trouble with all the Swewin experts out there.
Oh, yeah.
Two in particular that would comment. Yeah, I can do that. It's
We'll think hard and long on that one.
yeah, I'll think about doing that for sure. It's
Just before the, well,
Yeah.
depends on where they are in the world, so.
we may do maybe on the next plane that we've got a Sweewin on, or when we have one that's going out the door that's just come in and we have to set it up. Yeah, I'll definitely think about that. Thank you, that's a good suggestion.
He wants a door lock on this one.
Yeah, on the front.
Brian said, I would like that also. Nick
Most of
says,
it's-
live on the edge now.
Yeah, piss everybody off. Who cares who you piss off now? Just piss everybody off.
You're one step closer. Make the jump.
The only problem is now when I want to buy stuff, it's getting harder and harder to buy stuff if you piss more people off.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what happens. Yeah, I was going to say the thing about Sweewin turbines is there's really not a whole lot of adjustments to be made.
Look, there's one flying through the air now.
So for example, when we get one that's brand new in the shop, I kind of have a series of changes that are made, but not a ton. And we just had an 80, for example, that was sold last year. Another guy bought the plane, and when he went to go throttle up, the engine was quitting. So all we did was we dropped the accel and decel numbers way down and started over again. So his numbers were at like 27, I think, or something like that. We dropped him down to like 10 or 12. He did it all himself and basically just sneaked them up to where it was comfortable. So accelerating at a decent speed, and that solved the problem. So there are simple things, but there's really not like, I mean, there's not 100 different settings on a Sweewin engine to set up. It's pretty straightforward.
Most jet engines are very similar to
Yeah. You do have more adjustment with the Sweewin.
Right.
Like if you think about Jets months, you've got like, right? So
Brian,
I generally buy them either from DreamWorks or RC. DreamWorks is located in Florida. Thunderbolt RC is located in Canada. So it depends on who has them, but I'll try and order them from Thunderbolt if possible, just because shipping is easier for us.
Dragon Killer, y'all get any snow yet or any on the way?
No snow. Mountains, yes, but no snow here yet. It's cold though, you can feel it.
It's coming.
Yeah, it feels like it's supposed to be snowing soon.
More rain. It's mostly what it is. Most rain.
My
Yeah,
Facebook page popped up in 2009 and snowed.
yeah.
Phil says,
Wow.
I love my Sweewin 80, best damn turbine I've ever owned. I started with the Camps, home built, then Jetcat. They are the dog's danglies.
Nice.
Glad someone else can. Thank you.
Is there room?
Of course
I
there is.
love it.
Oh, okay, right there. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Light.
yep. I already thought about this earlier. I just didn't think we would be doing it, but that's okay. We can do it. So what we'll probably do is pull the gear out again. It's fairly easy to get it out, and then that'll allow us to get good access to
Rest of the
that area to mount the servo. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Oh, yeah, you
So
gotta
probably
one
put the
to
servo
hold
there.
door down, yeah.
I mean, I can do it up front. The problem is getting it up front is going to be harder because we don't have good access. Here, we've got really good
It'd
access.
be better in
so-
the middle because you get more force all the way across holding it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
There's a point to mechanical. Yeah.
So we need to have the servo mounted kind of like what we did on that one. So I need to print another servo mount maybe, have it mounted this way,
So flat.
and the arm comes out like that.
Yeah.
Nick says he's still getting snow there in the spring.
Could also mount it
Where's
here.
Nick at?
Nick, I think you're in New Zealand, right? Is that where you're at? Somewhere over there?
Somewhere
And
over
Phil
there.
says, love a laugh at 3:35 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
3:35.
Thank you for tuning in. That is
Yes.
dedication. Blue Allen key?
He says, yep, New
Oh,
Zealand.
I've got it here. That is dedication. Now, where's Stacy?
Yeah,
Stacy messaged me earlier and he's like, sorry, he's on vacation right now in like Spain or something. He's like, sorry, I can't log on. It's going to be too early in the morning. Well, no excuse there.
We got him.
Arnold says, is the gear is air, question mark, is there a delay for the locking system?
Yeah, so what we've done with the locking system, I have covered this already in the video, but basically with the jetty we've made 3 separate channels. So channel 18, 19, and 20 is for the gear doors. And those are all going to be run through our SE6 expander port. And so then we'll have that sequence to the gear switch. So we're going to set up a logic switch, and there's going to be a delay. So when you do gear down, boom, the servo's open right away. And if we need a delay there, we can add it. And when you do gear up, the gear's going to come up, the doors are going to close, and then about 12 seconds later, the servo arms will close and lock the doors. So yeah, there'll be a delay on both ends, and it's all adjustable.
Bill said he's also been to the pub.
Oh, wow. Well, they're on every block there anyways.
Maybe even downstairs.
Yeah. I don't know if they have it downstairs in the church pubs in New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
Nick's in New Zealand. Nick's in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil's, I think, in the UK, right? Yeah.
He's in the UK, yeah, there's best place to get food. Don't go to those fancy restaurants, just go to the closest neighborhood pub.
Fish and chips.
Oh, great stuff.
Shepherd's
But at the
pie.
same time, they do have the crappy pubs too.
I would imagine so.
Well, it's just like up here. We have our.
But usually if you're in the small towns, that's the place where you go because that's the only place, that's the only restaurant in the town, is the pub.
So we could also mount, if it fits,
Sideways, eh?
not going to fit there.
You got the, if you bring it out maybe, because you got the brace for the,
So yeah, that's not going to work.
Nick says it's bloody cold there.
Oh, here?
No, in New Zealand.
Yeah.
does it get to 40 below?
That's a wind chill. We never get that.
We've been down to like minus 38, minus 39.
Yeah, like in low
Celsius.
32s, 33, 34. But they only last a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, here
Thank God.
Here
Yeah.
in Colmy, Calgary, yeah. But you go to Saskatchewan and stuff like that, and it's Saskatoon. It's
Not only that, Edmonton, when it
Yeah.
gets cold, it's
minus
stays there.
40, minus 45.
I think we can mount that servo right there. That's super cool.
Yeah, that would be good.
You got her?
Can you see underneath?
Yeah, yeah. No,
No, you have to look from the top here.
inside.
It's right here, up here.
Oh, it's like an illusion.
It's an illusion.
See, you can't see
It's the inside zip.
because
It's
it's
there,
inside.
but it's not there. I
It's
can stick
there,
my
but
arm
it's
in.
not there.
Man, that's the smallest
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, little JR, high voltage.
Really?
So yeah, I think that's going to work out good. So we'll have a little poker come down, and the little servo locks in.
That's a tiny, tiny.
That'll work.
So I just have to make a mount that mounts to the intakes, and then we'll still have access to our bolts if those ever need to come off, rather than trying to fit it underneath here.
Because I think you have issues if you put it there. Eventually.
Yeah.
Says it's minus 22.8.
Oh, geez. Well,
out
that's
the
pretty
back door
cold.
looking at the mountain.
Really? They're in Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like what we get around Christmas time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our Christmas, New Year's temperature-ish.
I didn't have sympathy for you, but now I have sympathy for you
Yeah.
because you know what it feels like.
Yeah, 2 months, man. We're gonna really, jeez.
I'm not looking forward to winter.
Oh, by then,
They're digging out the clothes.
usually by Christmas time and stuff, that when it's.
You're all used to it.
You take your t-shirt, you take your coat off, you go t-shirt and say, oh, what a nice day, because you've gone through the 30 below weather.
Well, it's January and February that are really cold here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually it's right around Christmas into New Year's. It can just tap off into
Phil says, you whippersnappers, no ATV, no endpoint adjustment, no model memories. Do you need a clockwise or anti-clockwise servo?
Oh, wow.
God, I'm ancient.
Jeez.
Yes, English pub food is great.
He's talking like how the servos or radios were set up in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they had, reversing, and then expo, and then, dual rates.
Those fangled radio, computer radios.
Computer radios. Oh, yeah. That's what they said about GRs when they first came out.
And they still probably have to get their license for them, for the radios. Used to have to get their license for the TDs, or they got rid of that.
Oh, out there?
Yeah, in the UK and in Europe, you have to get your license for your TV.
You're going to put it right in front of the mount?
Yeah, but I'm going to put a block of wood
Oh, yeah. So
on
just
each
from
side.
the side, yeah.
So you
can
still have
do it.
access.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to work good.
Yeah.
Nick says they've already run out of wood, heat pump only.
What? Really?
We can send you some oil.
Yeah.
Then you can send it back to us because that's
Yeah.
how we do it.
We'll buy it back at
We'll buy
5
it
times
back.
the price.
Yeah, we will. It'll take, what is it, about 6 weeks to get that? 6 weeks. That's if it gets into the ship. 6 weeks? Yeah.
Phil says, hell yes. Dragon Killer says 47 Fahrenheit is his overnight low in Tennessee. Is that Tennessee?
TN?
TN.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, yeah.
My daughter was
cool
just
for
there
them.
last week
That's cool.
in
They
Gatlinburg.
got the rolling mountains in there.
Yeah.
The Blue Mountains. Aren't they called that? Like the Blue
And
Mountains?
if they see snow in Tennessee,
They crashed.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, love
Seems like just
Tennessee
stay
is
home.
beautiful. I love that. I love it down there.
Same for Texas. See a snowflake hit his windshield? They're all in the ditch right now.
We landed in Texas. We're in Dallas, Fort Worth, on Boxing Day in 2012. They had a skiff of snow. They had a skiff of snow, and they didn't know. The guys couldn't pull the planes. They were slipping and sliding. They were freaking out. And I'm like, and we came from like minus 25 degrees in Calgary down to there. And I'm like,
And that's when you shout it. Where we come from, we get up, we push it by hand.
oh my God.
Brian says, now we have an Android transmitter. Phil says, my Field Force 7 was like a supercomputer with 4 memories.
Wow, 4 models.
Brian
cool.
says, yes, Canadian way, sell cheap, buy back for more money.
Yeah, exactly. Not the truth.
Back in the day before model memories came in, we used to have one transmitter for every airplane.
Yeah.
So I remember my dad and I, we had up to 5 transmitters, 5 different airplanes. Yeah.
So we're saving the environment now because they only have to have one.
And those are back when it was like the 80s, there was Airtronics, which they were quite good in the time.
Nick says, God no, greenies will get upset. Few things got in the way of getting wood. Usually 13 cords.
That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot of wood.
Dragon Killer, hey, we get snow every year, just not till late November, December, on into January, February. Taz says it's a nice 14 degrees here in Tasmania.
Nice.
Nice.
Nick says, I remember them, Walter. Arnold says, hey, Texas never gets snow, mostly ice, then snow. And I believe the city only has 8 plows.
Yes, yes. And the airport has nothing for snow removal. Nothing. Because we were in Dallas, Fort Worth in 2012, they had nothing. They were scared shitless of
Wow.
pushing the airplanes. It was
That's
sad.
wild.
It was sad.
And yet, that's where my cousin always goes. He always goes back to Houston. When the picture's coming to Saskatchewan, he's off on a plane back to Houston.
Houston's like,
But
even
now
right
he's,
on to the coast.
now he's sort of gone crazy.
Dallas
because
is up north a little
now
bit.
he went off to the Ukraine. He's in the Ukraine for the 2nd year in a row for the winter.
He's just setting up intros there, or what?
Well, he's
I'm just checking to make sure I'm happy with them.
Happy with it?
Low receiver voltage.
I was wondering what you're using that plug for. I saw it there at the beginning. I was just like,
It's the on-off plug.
no, with the yellow.
Oh, the SE6?
Yes.
It's an
Makes
expanded.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense for like the gear door thing. That's
Yeah, so we're going to run the, so channel, or port number 1 is channel 17 is what I have it set up as.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the air valve for the chute. And then 2, 3, 4 is channels 18, 19, 20, which is for the gear door locks.
that's cool.
And then channel 6 on here, you can program either as an EXT port, so a data port, or another servo port.
See, and that's the thing is when you get into these airplanes, you get it gets so complex. You need that to keep down the wiring. You know,
Yeah.
To simplify it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool setup.
It's really.
It's a neat little device.
Phil says England grinds to a halt with any snow deeper than 2 millimeters.
Yeah, they don't get snow usually either.
That's funny.
Scotland, they do. Up north they do.
Yeah, up in London. No.
Where do you expect their place isn't built on a swamp?
Nick says, yes, they did have snow. The skid steers did a roaring trade.
Oh, I could imagine. I could imagine.
Arnold says, that was the ice storm. Cowboys hosted the Super Bowl. Everything was dedicated to keep that stadium in check.
The whole city.
So they took all the plows from the airport.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh my
That's what I'm
gosh.
saying.
Well, probably, yeah.
Everything from
Everything
All
for the
9
stadium.
plows. That's funny.
Has anyone thought of making a real turbine afterburner, or is that prohibited on an RC aircraft?
We have actually been talking with a fellow for a couple years now.
It can be done.
Yeah, they do exist out there. I don't think it makes sense to do it on an aircraft. And the reason is so on a 300 Newton engine, for example, if you add the afterburner, the calculations say you should be able to double the output power of the engine. The downside with the afterburner is you're doubling the length. So the turbine really would need to be very close to the back of the aircraft. The whole afterburner system back here weighs a fair bit, of course, depending on how it's manufactured, but your fuel usage doubles. So if that turbine, I'm just going to make up numbers, if that turbine's using half a liter a minute at full throttle, when you turn the afterburner on, the afterburner's using approximately that same amount of fuel, so your fuel usage doubles on the aircraft.
Yeah, like that guy who was on here before, the mechanic from F16s, he would know that.
Mm-hmm.
About the fuel, it's an enormous amount
Yeah.
of fuel that gets
Really,
pushed out the back.
why do you need it for?
Well, it's a cool factor.
Yeah,
Well, in it,
the lights are better.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. You have the glowing lights, there you go.
So we've been well, not me personally, but I've been involved in one getting made for a Sweewin 400, and it's going to get mounted on the back of a boat is the plan. So anyways, I'm not sure what the updates are, but that's the plan. So
Nick says, got Habu primed and sanded, but too bloody cold to do anything. And then says, first afterburner in Israel, and yes, fuel consumption was the killer.
yeah.
yes, yes.
So you're adding the weight of the fuel on the aircraft, you're adding the weight of the afterburner, so it's like, meh. Is there benefits? Not really, I don't think, for our
Just to get a
models.
shorter takeoff.
So if the plane had like a smoke system, you could use like the smoke tanks for the
Yeah.
after, but you're only going to get a really small amount
Yeah.
of usage out of it.
Yeah.
Well, just use them for taking off, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess you're flying.
I mean, if I had afterburners, I'd just fly them all the time because it's cool. But
Yeah.
all right, well, I think that unless you guys have any other questions, I think that's going to wrap it up. That's a quick 2 hours, hour and 51 minutes.
Printer's still humming.
Crazy. Yeah.
Get that.
Oh,
Could
Siri.
you try again?
No, Siri. I don't know what I said, but Siri apparently thought I was talking to her. I was watching it, Adam Savage. You know Adam Savage, him and Jamie, the guys that did the show about they made stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
What are they called?
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. Yeah, I was watching.
Like that's what we were referring
Yeah.
to when we did the radio test.
I was watching an Adam Savage video the other day on YouTube, and he was just sitting at his desk talking, and his Apple Watch suddenly was like something like the same thing. How can I help you? It just made me think about that. All right, guys, that's everything. Unless you have some final questions. Thanks for tuning into our our live stream. It's always fun to have a bunch of people in the shop, fun to have you guys here in the shop. It's fun to interact with you as well too. Lots of fun projects. You guys, the stuff you saw tonight is 3 videos ahead, so this is like way in the future, like sometime in November when this video is going to come out. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
And Ward.
And Russell.
And Katie!
And Katie.